The month of April has come to a close, so I'm going to rank all 6 April new releases I saw this month from the worst to the best. Hi, my name is Nathan, and I talk about a bunch of movies and TV on this channel. If you're new here, down below in the comment section, share your ranking of all the April new releases that you saw ranked over on my channel. I have more content like this. Check those out once this video is over. And click that like button, be sure to subscribe, it really does help. With that said, let's just get started with the ranking. Coming in last place is Peter Pan and Wendy. I just saw this movie about 5 minutes ago, and I could clearly tell it would be in last place on this list, because some of the charm of Peter Pan is just lacking and gone, and the big problem is that it really does try to make Peter Pan a big, sweeping, epic story, and it's just not that. And it's so in your face with all of this action sequences and everything like that, that it can sometimes feel like a Pirates of the Caribbean knockoff, which isn't something I say a lot, and like many of these, there's no reason to rewatch it when you have the original, and it didn't come to a satisfying or definitive close for me. Now granted, it didn't offend me or annoy me as much as a bunch of other Disney movies have, but this is still easily in last place on this list. Number 5, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and to be perfectly clear, there is a big gap from Peter Pan and Wendy to the Super Mario Brothers movie, because I enjoy this film and all the Nintendoisms it delivers. It's an accurate translation of all the Mario Nintendo material, and there's clever Easter eggs throughout for the fans, and it tells even a hero's journey for Mario himself throughout the story, set in just a fun world with settings that you love. Where I think it loses me a little bit is that it has some of the Illuminationisms in there, where it has all the pop music and everything like that. Bowser's plan is confusing, and I feel like the movie rushed a bit too much. Either that or the movie was maybe a bit too short, but I still had a lot of fun with this movie, and it looks like it's the most successful making movie that's making a lot of money this year. Just not as good as I hoped it would be. Number 4, Evil Dead Rise. A very solid horror film that's a great addition to this franchise that has all the scares and thrills that you would want from an Evil Dead film, but also it's set in a clever new context as it's set in a high-rise LA building, gives some new opportunities, gives a new way of exploring the isolation like a cabin in the woods, and of course, there's some unsettling elements about the mom being possessed that just adds a different layer of dynamics between her and the rest of the family. It gets crazier as it progresses. It's gnarly, it's gory, it's all the stuff you want from an Evil Dead movie. Now, I will say that the setup is a bit lazy. I didn't really care about the characters, and it wasn't as scary as the marketing, but I still enjoyed this film. In third place, Renfield, the movie where Nicolas Cage plays Dracula, and it's just a crazy good time at the movies. It's not for everybody, but it's just dumb fun for me. It manages to be a Dracula movie and mixes in a crime thriller element, and while most people see this as a criticism, it didn't bother me as much. There's some gnarly and fun action, but not the way that Evil Dead Rises, because the blood looks fake and all CGI-ish. Nicolas Cage plays such an over-the-top version of Dracula that only Nicolas Cage could have pulled off. Now, it's not for everybody. It is very absurd and highly over-the-top, but that's my kind of thing, and when I'm in the mood for this type of thing, this is a movie that maybe I could just put on easily. And so, I enjoyed this movie a lot. Our runner-up is Air, the film about the making of Air Jordans, directed by Oscar-winning director Ben Affleck, that turned out to be very, very good. It's a fantastic exploration of how Nike and Air Jordans rose to prominence, and it's just organically and naturally funny. Part of that is the great cast. You have Matt Damon, even Chris Tucker in there, that just add a bunch of levity and organicness to the humor inside of it. But it also solidifies Ben Affleck as an A-list director, because you forget he really can direct some great things. And I'm not really interested in the story about shoes, but it makes it so fascinating in the way that it's told. And that just makes it an inspiring, uplifting, and compelling story about Nike rising in prominence. This is an example of how to do a biopic correctly. I just love this movie. But coming in first place is The Covenant, Guy Ritchie's latest film that is one of his more serious films, and it's really good. It's great. It's a compelling story about two rescues, and it has a bunch of the tense sequences, but also has characters that you actually care about. Our two characters aren't really written to be particularly likable, but you still root for them anyway, because they just feel obliged to each other. Jake Gyllenhaal's character in particular feels obliged to rescue this other person. It's suspenseful, it's tense from beginning to end, especially on the rescue sequences. And it's just emotionally powerful and effective by the time you get to the end of it. There's some nicely done action. Like I said, it's very tense. And so far, this is one of my favorite movies of the year. And I love what Guy Ritchie did with it. So it is my favorite movie in April. There you have it. That's my ranking of all the April movies I saw ranked. Down below in the comment section, share your ranking of all the April new releases you saw. Click that like button, be sure to subscribe, and check out my other videos. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end, and I will see you in the next one.